Welcome, Earth Angels, and thank you for stopping by another edition of Earth Angel Journeys. Today we're going to be talking with a vibrational alignment coach, an author, and a psychic protection healer, and that's all one person, Donna Ferguson. She's going to be here talking about women's self-love and self-care. Very, very important, because if we don't help ourselves, we can't help others. Isn't that correct? It is very important that we take care of ourselves, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. The whole month of November is actually going to be talking about gratitude and self-love, and that's what we want to be doing right here on this show. So stay with us. Donna and I are coming up right after this. Let's get started. Well, welcome, Donna. How are you doing today?
Great, thanks, Clara. It's really nice of you to invite me, and I'm looking forward to it. So it's very exciting.
Wonderful. You have a lot of things going on, girlfriend. Lots of things. Today we're talking about women's self-love and self-care. That is so important. Tell me about what you do.
Yeah, well, I do a lot of work with women, obviously, and, we do look at working with them to create that lifestyle, but you can only do that if you look after yourself. So, it's about re-educating them and giving them the tools and the strategies to be able to work their day and work through those daily challenges, because every single day we're going into battle with whatever occurs during the course of the day, and we want to make that as easy and as effortless as possible. And so the best way to do that is to give them some really easy tools and strategies to work with that. But it's really important that they take time for themselves as well. And, whether that's through a morning meditation or, setting their intentions, whatever that might be, just to create that process for the day. And then when they do come up against some challenges, they can work through that really easily.
So the tools that you use, what do you do to set a woman on her path for self-healing, self-care?
Yeah. Look, it's this. I like to keep things really simple because I believe that too many people try and overcomplicate it. They try and work out too much and overthink it, and really it is very simple. So, that's the first thing that we teach them is don't try and overcomplicate it, because when you've got so many things going on, you really want to be able to just pick those things up and know that whatever that is. So, trust your intuition, because that's really going to save you a lot of time and effort and procrastination and self-sabotage. Then really look at how you're going to plan your day and what you've got on for the day. We often know what we've got on coming up during the course of the day, but if you're not going to take that time in the morning to set your mindset in the right space, then the rest of your day can really be quite chaotic and you just never get on top of that. So set your intentions, do a bit of exercise, do your meditation, tell yourself that you're worth it every day when you're in the shower, when you're putting your makeup on in the morning. Look at yourself and really let yourself know that you are worth it and you're lovely, and, love yourself, because you can't love those around you and those that need you if you're not really looking after yourself.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot of women, including myself, we have a tendency of being so busy that we don't take time. Where does a woman actually find time?
Look, exactly right. And, the busier that you are, the less time that you have. And, what are you actually busy doing? And it's a word I don't use. It's not something that I use in my vocabulary for my day-to-day running, because, I find that the busier you are, the less productive you are. And you tend to be running around in circles and doing things that, are incomplete, I suppose would be one way of looking at it. Whereas if you've got a schedule and you've got a time schedule and you've got, what's got to be done and when it's got to be done, your day just works. And, you've got your to-do list, tick that off, make sure you work through those things. And that really helps you to create more or allows you to create more time to actually take some time for yourself. get up and walk away, walk outside, take your shoes off, ground yourself, touch a tree, whatever it is that you've got to do. Bring yourself back, breathe, just breathe. Sometimes it's just about breathing. So it's really important, and women really do tend to forget the simplicity of what their day-to-day life can be.
So basically what we're doing is we're actually scheduling in time for ourselves, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
keeping it really simple, that's it, just time for me.
Right.
And, sometimes that means you've got to get up half an hour earlier, but if it means that you can get up half an hour earlier and, just have that quiet time for yourself to do those things and set the stature of your day, then you're really going to be a lot better off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So going back, let's take a step back. Mm-hmm. What brought you on this journey? What set you on your course?
Oh, look, it's been a very long journey for me. It's been 30 plus years for me so far. And I guess it all started really when I found myself in a relationship that was full of domestic violence. And that really created something that I definitely didn't know about. I wasn't familiar with. It wasn't in my upbringing. It was way out of my depth. And, I had no idea how to really control that. And I look at my fortunate circumstances of being able to walk away from that very early rather than sitting with that. And, a lot of people stay in those relationships for a lot of different reasons, and fear is one of the biggest ones. But, I realized after a very short time of being married and having my daughter that was it. I couldn't do it anymore, and I needed to get my life back. So that kind of set me on my path, I suppose. It redirected my destination to do things differently. And so it still took a lot of time and a lot of healing, because I didn't know about motivation and inspiration. That wasn't in my home growing up. It wasn't about, you can be anything you want to, you can do anything you want to, those things, they weren't conversations that we had. And so, it took a long time because I didn't really know where to turn. So a lot of personal growth coming out of that, and then really wanting to fight to get my life back, because I was pretty independent up until that point. And, anybody who goes through domestic violence gets just stripped of all their confidence and any control of their own life. So, that healing process, and then, starting to want to learn more about how to create more for myself, really, really got me going, I suppose. And then I, came in touch with mentors and coaches and like-minded people, where I was able to really continue my journey as a group with the support that I really wanted and needed, I suppose, as we all do.
So with the experiences that you had, it sounds like you decided, I'm not the only one out there. There's a lot of women that need help to get themselves back into themselves. Correct?
Yeah, definitely, because it's such a hard road. And, initially the way I started was to help women actually gain confidence and build that. But I had a much bigger vision. And about a year ago, I decided to rebrand my business. And that's what's brought me to where I am today, because that growth period in the last 12 months has been phenomenal. Just meeting a whole different quality of group of people, I suppose, who have really picked me up and supported me and given me the confidence, even more confidence, that, I was able to actually do this big vision. And, I couldn't have done that without their help. And, many different groups, network groups, women, powerful women in their own right. And, being connected with those people is really, you really do sort of tend to strive to be in that same caliber of company. So it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't tell many people as well, but I was in the same situation as you. And I think what happens is that when you're in a domestic violence situation, you don't really realize it at the time. You know, you just go through the motions and it happens. And one day you wake up and you realize where you're at. So it's really hard for women once they able to get away from it to take that power back. So here's my question to you on this guilt factor that we all seem to have is what happens with that guilt that we feel that we are not worthy of being or taking care of ourselves and making things better.
Yeah, really good question, Clara. It's really important that women that have come through domestic violence, you know, I know a lot of women who have been in that situation, and a lot of very strong, independent, career-driven women. And, you know, it when you know what they've gone through or going through, and you go, oh my goodness, I would never have picked that. And, you know, you hear their stories, and, you know, I think the guilt's the thing that comes afterwards, because when you're in it, it's all about survival. Can I get through today? It's about surviving that day, that hour, that minute. You know, it doesn't go beyond that. When you come out of it, and, you know, particularly if you've got children, it really does tend to sort of fall back on, why did I let myself get in that situation? What did I do to create that? And so you start second guessing your movements up until that point, instead of going, hey, you know what, if I hadn't gone through that, I wouldn't be the person that I am now. I wouldn't be successful in what I do. I wouldn't be driven and motivated and inspired to give more to other women and to share my story and my journey with them, and provide the gift of me being able to help them through that with all the processes that I do, and, you know, give them a life to be, you know, as extraordinary as they want it to be. So I think, you know, we forget that guilt is sort of really about questioning what we've done and why we ended up in that situation. And look, certainly if there are children involved, it's really hard to think, if they've grown up in that situation, the effect that it has on them. And you do feel very guilty. I think a lot of women that I've spoken to, my daughter was really young. She was only 5 months old when I left. So she didn't have to see that as such, but doesn't mean to say she hasn't suffered in some way, and we certainly talked about that. But, you know, when the children are older and they're physically seeing the effects of that, and they're in the middle of all of that, I think you do tend to feel very guilty for putting them in that situation when you really had no control. So the sooner that you learn to understand that it was not something that you did and that it wasn't in your control, then the sooner that you can release that guilt and move on. So sometimes you just need someone to help you work through that and understand that more than anything.
And where it comes to you, right? So you have tools, you have strategies. Tell us exactly what you actually do to help them, move them in that direction, in the positive way.
Of course. So I do a number of different things, and I have a number of different programs where we work through all different areas. So one of them is that, you know, and one of the main ones, I suppose, is about decoding all that life journey block limitations that we've accumulated during the course of our life, because half the time you don't even know those limitations are there. Some of them can occur way back in the womb and you don't even realize. And I know with the processes that I, do in my courses, that very much they can take these beautiful women back to the womb, where they actually have a big epiphany, realizing that there's something that's occurred at that point. and they've gone and questioned their parents about that and found out that, yes, there was something there. And, you know, then once they know that, then they can come back and we can work through that. So, but even they don't even have to know what it is. It comes to them during the course of breaking that all down for them anyway. So, you know, through some timeline therapy and some rapid success techniques that I've been given and I've learnt and taught, and you know, some psychic protection healing that I also work through, and just it's all added to being able to help them actually not move on really quickly, but remove those limitations. And when they break through those limitations that they didn't even know were there, it's even better, because they actually don't realize it until it's gone. And then they're like, wow, you know, that I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm like, no, of course not, because most of it works in our subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm. With the experiences that you've helped other women, can you give us maybe an example of something that happened that you saw that you found profound, where your technique really changed somebody in a very, very positive way, maybe even touched you?
It always touches me. You know, when I work with these women and you see literally, you know, they'll walk in and they'll start doing one of these particular courses, if it's a one-on-one course or a group course, a small group of women, and it's face-to-face, and it, you know, you see them sitting there and they're all very, you know, they might be very successful in what they do, but they don't realize that they've got stuff. And so when we start working through this particular part of the course, you see that they're standing taller. They will really release a lot of stuff, so the tears will flow. And then they stand even taller, and then they just have this projection in the way they speak, the confidence that comes through. Now, that's in a matter of, can be in a matter of hours, you know. I've had, and actually on my website, there is a lady there who does do a testimonial. She's a video testimonial on there, and she talks about, you know, from when she walked in at the beginning of the day to when she left, and, you know, her whole life changed, and what she did and what she achieved within 6 weeks of finishing that course was absolutely phenomenal. And the journey that she's been on since then has been massive. So she says it literally changed, won her life back. It was like winning gold at the Olympics. You know, it just gave her so much to compare to where she was on the day when she walked in. So yeah.
Sounds like what you're doing is you're kind of like peeling an onion, taking pieces away until you get to the actual core. Yes?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all inner work. And I think this is, and this particular woman, she has said to me, and she's got it, I think, on the, when she wrote a testimonial, it had that she'd been to therapists, many therapists and psychologists, and over a period of, I think she said 6 years, and nothing worked for her. And yet within a couple of hours, she had already had massive breakthroughs. So, you know, when you address what the actual core root of the problem is, then you can understand it and you can go, hey, now I know how to work through that because I actually know what it is, rather than going talk, and not really understanding what it is. People just want to hear you say the words that they want to hear and think, oh yeah, you're fine, your hour's up, let's go, you know.
Right.
It doesn't work like that. And I do see a lot of changes with the way that the psychologists do work these days. I think they do tend to be a little bit more working with natural therapies as well. They do tend to bring in some cases, they are starting to work with the inner work rather than just sitting in a room patting you on the head basically when you walk out. So there are some changes coming through, and it's really good to see that that industry is recognizing that nothing just happens because they can sit there and say the words. because it's still here, it's still inside. You've got to let it out, you know?
Right. Okay. So then you take, say for instance, somebody, that's the start of it, correct? So you have different levels that you can take them on to bring them to where they need to be, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. So I've actually just in the last couple of weeks as well, I've developed another 2 programs. So I've got 5 different programs that I offer now, and they're on different areas. And even that decoding one is my second level now, because I actually have another one that will just give them tools and strategies that they can work with if they're not ready to really lose their stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, some people are very close and very fond. It's been with them for a very long time. They're not ready to let that all go.
Right. It's true.
Yeah. People like to hang on to stuff, you know. And, you know, that's fine, because I do, like I said, I've got another program that is a lot shorter, and, you know, it just helps them develop who they are, and as they work through that, they will have some realizations, and if they want to move forward with that, well, they can move into the next level.
So it's all about timing for themselves.
Absolutely.
And when they're ready, then they move on, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's no pressure. Like, you know, if they're not ready, they're not ready. And I know I've seen that happen. And you can't work with women if, you know, I've had clients who've come in saying, yes, they want to do this, and they've done, you know, the weekly programs, and nothing changes because they're just not willing to acknowledge and understand that, and really to accept what that is. And without that, without acceptance and understanding, you really just can't do anything with that. And people don't move because they're just still too far in it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they're just not ready to let go of it.
Right. So how can
somebody... denial, I suppose, in some cases too.
So how can somebody get a hold of you to get your help?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have all my services are on my Facebook page now. I run masterclasses as well through Facebook advertising, but also on my website. You can go to my website, and, you know, we have all our coaching programs in there, so you can contact me through that. There's any which way that they want to do it. I don't know if you want to put some links in.
Yes, I'll have links at the top. Yeah.
Yeah. So the links will be there for them. They can click on those as well. So I think I gave you some links for those masterclasses as well, which I've done, and there will be new links that create it as the new ones come up. But if they just go to the Facebook group, they should be able to see that as they come up. So that's something that they can look at as well. So, yeah.
Wonderful. I want to thank you so much, Donna, for coming and talking with me today. Very enlightening. Hope everyone decides that they want, you know, when they're ready, you know, they can step forward, you know, they just
step forward. Yeah, you know, absolutely. And, you know, I do, if people just want to have a quick chat and find out what I can do for them, then on my Facebook group, then they can, on my Facebook page, they can definitely do that. They can organize a power call through that. And all they have to do is just contact me and send me a message, and I'm happy to set up a session with them for 15 minutes, have a quick chat and see what they want to do, what they're looking for, whether or not we can work together. And then if they want to move forward from there, that's fine. I'm not going to sell them anything on that 15-minute power call. It's it's up to them if they want to choose to do something after that. But that's totally complimentary, and I'm happy to give them that time to, you know, help them along, because I think it's really selfish if we don't gift our knowledge and pass that on to people, because, you know, really I would still be stuck if somebody didn't pass on some knowledge to me. So
absolutely, we all have to work together and help each other, right?
Absolutely, we do. Right. So, and that's what it's about. Don't be in competition with anybody except yourself. Be better tomorrow than you were today. women around you, they're not in competition with you. They're there to support you and help you as a network. Be in the network, enjoy it, because they really will be able to give you some value at somewhere along the line. It's massive.
Wonderful words of wisdom today. Thank you so much. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Clara. Enjoy your day.
Bye-bye. Well, Earth Angels, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Earth Angel Journeys. And I do hope that you take Donna's advice. Women, you need to work together. We are not in competition. Let's say that again. We are not in competition. We need to work together. We need to help each other grow. We need to be united. That's my gift to you today. Take it with you. Inspire others. And be a voice of change, for positive change. That's what I hope for you today. Stay vibrationally centered, Earth Angels, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. And when you put energy healing and creative visualization together, it creates something magical.